happened? Anybody know what happened? No? Weird. Okay, let's try this again. Take 2, you guys. So, anyways, we didn't go buy water bottles. Let me know when you guys are on. Hopefully this one works. I don't know what happened. That one just kind of disappeared, I guess. Anyways, hi Talia. Can you see me okay? Like wave at me or give me a thumbs up. Let me know if this is working or not. Yes, no. Okay, I'm just gonna roll with it. So, anyways, so last week, hi Dana. Hi Mama Dana. So last week we had, I had decided to open up and, oh, thank you, Talia. I had decided to open up and talk about, my upbringing and some things that had, what I've been through and things that are basically like have molded me into the person that I am. And I was very skeptical for a really, really long time to share my story. And surprisingly, my husband actually maybe still hasn't heard my whole story. And I've been with him for 18 plus years. So that just goes to tell you that this is something that is very personal. It's very hard for me already, y'all. It's very hard for me to share, but for the past few months, you know, I've been just kind of digging deep a little bit, and it's just been really on my heart to just be open and honest and transparent. Thank you, Talia. I seriously love you. Thank you. Like, you're literally like helping me right now. So anyways, so I decided, you know, I wanted to share on social media and just kind of help people. And my whole vision, my whole goal is I want to help anybody that's been in foster care, who has been adopted, or who has maybe been, has been through a traumatic experience as a young child. And many times, because this is not talked about at all, from my 33 years, this is not a subject. It's not easy for anybody to talk about. So we kind of just don't go there. And for me, I just want to break that. I want to be the voice for people who can't be a voice for themselves. And I also want to spread and have awareness of what foster kids can go through and what kids that don't come from the norm background can go through. So if you didn't see my first video, please go back and watch that. That way, because I'm going to actually just piggyback off of our story from last week. But I wanted to show you guys. So I had a very trying night tonight. Very trying. I'm going to drink some water real quick. My hydrate, that way I don't get cotton mouthy. Okay. And I almost didn't do a live because something had happened, and it touched base on, it just triggered so many emotions, even in my adult life, that had tied into it. And I literally had a meltdown when I got home. I locked myself in the room and I just cried. And I'm not a big religious person. I believe in Jesus. I pray. I'm not one to talk religion to people, but at that moment, I just started praying and I said, look, Lord, like, I know that I'm meant for more. Like, I know that you're using this, and this is just like either the devil is coming in or a test or something, but just please give me the strength. So, my husband ended up coming home and he was like, did you take a look at this? And I want to show you guys. So if you guys saw or heard my story from last week, and I'm going to swipe over to the comments, and I promise you guys, I will get back to your questions. If you guys have questions or something comes up, please put it in the comment section. I promise I will get to it, but I lose scroll, right? So anyways, if you guys saw my story last week and remember how I had said before I had gotten takeaway from my aunt that day we had gone to go take pictures, and my hair was curly, I was in the white. You guys remember that story? I was in the big white oversized with the teddy bear. Okay, well, the Lord must be listening, because look, this is the picture. That's me. Curly hair, oversized white sweatshirt, my teddy bear. Crazy, right? So that moment earlier today was really testing me, and then my husband was like, you need to look at this, and I looked, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like I can't even, like, right? So this was the last picture that, and unfortunately I don't have it with my aunt because we did some together, and I told you it was glamour shots, y'all. So these are legit like glamour shots. That's me. And my kid looks just like me. But these were the last pictures that we actually got to take together before I was taken from my aunt. So anyways, so where we left off last week was we had talked, Dana, I know. Okay, you guys, I just have to make fun of myself because, like, I'm trying not to be super emotional, but look at those teeth, though. Those braces really came into handy, right? But that was me, y'all. Still big old cheeks and got the, yeah, just living my best life. So anyways, okay, so I wanted to extend my story and just kind of start talking. So now tonight we are actually going to dive deep into what happened next. So where I had left off is that I was at Long Beach Children's Institute, and I had just actually gotten the phone call from my aunt wishing me a Merry Christmas, and she had said, you know, we're doing everything we can to get you back, and nobody could get a hold of my biological mother at the time. And so anyways, some time had passed from that, and they actually were able to get a hold of, at the time, who my biological mother had put on my birth certificate was my dad. And they were actually able to get a hold of him. And he had been able to get visiting rights to go see me there. And he brought my little brother to come visit me. And we had like a little playroom visitation area that we went to. And I remember like my little brother and I, like we were tumbling. They had these fold out tumbling mats, and him and I were doing like front flip somersaults, you know, and I was so excited to see him because, mind you, this is a little boy that I had basically been a mother to at the age of 4 years old, right? So it's almost in a weird sense, you know, like it's like I'm seeing my own kid. And so the boyfriend, we're going to call him the boyfriend, he said, okay, you know, you're going to come back to Bakersfield and you're going to move in with us, and your mom and I are going to work our things out. So, you know, we're just doing the paperwork and whatnot. So of course, like my hopes are like through the roof because I had just accepted the fact that I was like a lost cause and she wasn't going to come get me. And then seeing him and him saying that, it put hope in my heart. Okay, so I was so excited. I wrote letters to her, my biological mother, about how much I had missed her. I drew my little brother a picture and I told him to take it home with him. You know, like my little girl instincts of I'm coming home was just like, it was almost like it was a dream. Like it's really, it's like my dreams are finally coming true, right? So then I have a social worker that comes and gets me and drives me. Again, it was like after dinner time, because Long Beach is 2 hours from where I live. Come and get me after dinner time and basically drove me to Bakersfield. And I slept in the back of the car, like sleeping on the way back over here. And we had met with a judge, and the judge had indicated that my biological mother had failed to show up for her hearing to basically pass a drug test to prove that she was clean and out of rehab, and that I'm going to go stay with some people until she comes to her court hearing, which I believe it was like a week or two later. So of course I'm crushed because I'm thinking I'm gonna go home and I have no way of being able to get a hold of my little brother once again and the boyfriend. So I get taken to a foster home, and let me just tell you, when you are leaving I said I wasn't going to do this tonight because I've cried so much. When you are leaving a children's center, your belongings are in a trash bag. Like, there is nothing, there is no suitcase. You have your belongings in a trash bag, and then you have, you know, your stuffed animal or your blankie, whatever it was. Mine was my little bear. And the feeling of not belonging was real. And when we pulled up to the foster home, I remember it like clear as day. I was 6 years old now. I believe I celebrated my 6th birthday at the Children's Institute. I was 6 years old, and I think, yeah. And we pulled up, and my social worker had popped the trunk of her car and got out my belongings and walked me up and was like, Chanel, this is Mrs., you know, foster mom. And my foster mother was like a 70-year-old woman who was in a wheelchair, so she was handicapped. And there was 2 boys who were about my age at that time, maybe a little bit like 7 and 8, but around the same age, and then an older teenager who had been with her for a really long time. So she takes me up and she introduces me, and of course, like, you, like, at that moment, like, and it's not, and I am not at all bashing a social worker, the social worker herself. It was just remembering it now as being an adult. It's like, oh my gosh, like, it's okay, she's yours now. Here's like the bag, here's her belongings. And it was like, okay, well, you can just take your belongings, and your room is over there, and you're sharing a room because somebody else is coming. Like, it was almost like a dorm room. Like, you have these random people that are coming in. You have no sense of identity. You have no sense of belonging. You have no sense of home. Like, you just feel like a stranger living in a stranger's home yet again. And I've already been dealing with that, of being left with strange women already. So you can kind of imagine the emotions and the struggle that I was going through. Like, I just wanted to go home. Like, I didn't care. I just wanted somebody that I knew to comfort me. I wanted somebody that I knew to tell me it would be okay. I would be okay. And so I got settled in. I ended up sharing a room, and you know, the week passed, and I'm waiting, and we get the phone call, and of course she didn't show up again. She didn't pass her drug test. The boyfriend was nowhere to be found. And so now I am officially in the system as a foster child. And I don't really recall like how long I was there, but my aunt found me. Somehow she found me. And let me tell you, this woman is the woman who taught me to never give up, to always persevere. Because she was not going to give up until she knew that I was somewhere safe and that I wasn't back in the same situation that I was prior. And that is the one person that I always knew that I can rely on. And she had called one day. I'm not justifying it, but she lied and she said that she was my biological mother because she wanted to hear my voice and just know I was okay. And so my foster mom at that time thought that it was my biological mother, and per court order, if the mother does call the child, she is allowed to talk to the mom. Sneaky little aunt, right? But anyway, so she got on the phone and she was like, Chanel, do not say anything, but this is your Aunt Patty. And I was like so excited, but I couldn't say anything. I couldn't say, hi, Aunt. Oh my God, I just said her name, whatever. Hi, Aunt Patty. How are you? I missed you. I love you. Where are you? When are you going to come get me? I couldn't say any of that. I had to pretend that I was talking to my biological mother. And I just kept real quiet, and she said, I can't stay on very long because I don't want this. Basically, she didn't want to get caught. But she said, I just wanted to ask, are you doing okay? And all I said was, yeah. And she just said, okay, I'm doing everything I can to get you. But it's really hard because there are other people that are in the picture now who are also trying to come get you. And if that doesn't make a kid feel like, well, where are they? Like, okay, when are they going to come get me? It's almost like, you get hope and then you get shot down, and you get more hope and then you get shot down. And it's like, at what point do you feel like that this is really going to happen? But I trusted my aunt, and I always knew she would never lie to me, because that's what she told me. She said, no matter what, Chanel, I will always be honest with you. And so I said, okay. So we hung up on the phone, and months turned into, I believe I was there for a year and a half. And some crazy shit went down. Crazy. When you're in a foster home, short term, so there's short-term foster home, long-term foster home, and then foster to adopt, okay? So short term is where the parent still has their rights. They're basically, trying to prove that they're not worthy, but, capable of being able to take care of their child. Long term is, normally the parent is away, could be in jail, could be in rehab, still looking for family, has relatives unable to locate, but long-term foster care. And then there's foster to adopt, and there's different variations of foster to adopt. So at this point, I was still considered short-term foster care. So we could not get a hold of, I almost said her name. Ugh. You guys, it literally makes me sick to say her name, because it just I don't even want to give her that acknowledgement. I don't know, it's so weird. It's not weird. It's not weird. It's totally justifiable, because she doesn't deserve to have that acknowledgement from me, because she did nothing but birth me. That's how I feel. Anyway, so we went to court. Never showed up, still didn't show up. Then all of a sudden the grandparents come into the picture, and I'm like, oh my gosh, well, guess where they live? In Florida. Grandparents that I had never met in my life were gonna take me to Florida. And I'm like, okay. And then come to find out they have a son who has a mental disorder. And so they were trying to prove that I was safe to come there. And they ended up saying that it wasn't safe because of the fact of, his medical condition. And so then that got taken away from me. So now you guys can understand, nobody can, my biological mother is literally, oh, and side note, so before the grandparents had come into the picture, the grandparents had sent her about, I believe it was $600, and they said, go get Chanel and get a plane ticket and fly back here, and we will take care of both of you guys. I know this for a fact because my aunt had told me, and told me also again when I was older, because I had asked. And I guess that she was just so consumed with drugs that she took that $600 and she went and spent it on cocaine, alcohol, partying, you know, just doing whatever she wanted to do because I wasn't important enough for her to come get. I guess like a night before where they were going to give her parental visitation rights, she had been on like a binge and was so out of it that they had pulled me out of the court room. Y'all, I'm trying to keep it together right now. And I hadn't seen her in 2 years. So she had been on a binge and she finally showed up to court after however many hours she was late. And they pulled me out, and as I'm coming out of the doors, she's there with her parents, which were my grandparents, and just out of her mind and screaming in the middle of this court hallway, my baby, what happened to you? I love you, I miss you. And I'm turning around and I'm like, and you guys, like, you could just tell, like, she just had makeup smeared, her hair was everywhere, she was just sucked in, like, she just didn't look good. And I just looked at her and I was like, Mom? I didn't even recognize her. And she was like, I promise I'm coming to get you. I promise we're going to go to Florida. I'm going to get better. I'm going to do this for you. And then, of course, me being, 6 years old at this time, 6.5, I'm like, Mommy, Mommy, Mommy. And it's like literally like I'm getting pulled into the back because she's making such a scene and they're having to restrain her. And that was like one of the last memories that I have. The last memory was her being restrained and me being pulled away. Sorry. That's when I knew that I wasn't going to go home. Ever. I was going to be a foster kid. In the elementary school that I went to, when they found out that I was a foster kid, they were so mean. So mean. And I was explaining this to my husband. When you don't have a sense of belonging and you've lost your family in a sense, it's almost like a death, right? And you're trying to find yourself. And kids, you find a sense of identity with kids. And to me, I've always told all of my friends this, and it's nipped me in the butt numerous of times, but I've always been the type of person that once you're my friend, you're my family. Because my friends were my only family. That was all I could rely on, right? So when you're in elementary school and people find out that you're a foster kid, they could be really mean. I used to get like bullied and made fun of because I was poor. I didn't have matching outfits. I had hand-me-downs. There was one time when like my shoe, like my shoelace was like tattered and I had a start of a hole, and like literally I had 3 girls like surround me and they were just like, where's your mommy? Like that type of thing. So you grow a really thick skin, and anybody that comes to you and they're like, I'll be your friend, you just latch on to them. And that's carried over into my adult life. Anybody, like anybody. And I hate when my friends are suffering in life or hurting or feeling alone, because I know what that feels like. I attach to that. I want to save you. I want to help you. I want to make you not feel that way, because I remember feeling that way. So I was in foster care, right? My aunt was she somehow wheedled her way. She had found out that my biological mother had gotten her rights taken away. And she somehow wheedled her way in and made it to where she could come visit me one time. Oh, God. And she actually surprised me for my 7th birthday. True story. She came with my other aunt, who was like her best friend. So it was like aunt by default, right? And she surprised me. And I want to show you, because my aunt was very good at taking pictures, because she always wanted to document the happy times of my childhood. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of that, because when you've moved around so much, especially younger, a lot of it gets lost or tattered. But I do have some of the pictures, and I want to show you guys the woman who helped to like kind of shape me into who I am, about always persevering and never giving up. So this was her when I had literally just like walked in, and I put on a dress, at a birthday dress. This is my Aunt Patty, and look, you guys, I've always been pretty thug. But that's her. Yeah, I was so excited. It was like the best birthday present I could have ever had. Like anybody could have ever given me, was that one time. And that was the one time that I could see her. She threw me a surprise party. Granted, it was only because I didn't really have friends. It was only with like the foster care brothers and sisters that I had. But it was also from an extra neighbor. And she did like little, like little streamers and balloons. I was there. Look how happy I am. Like, that's me. That's how happy, like, it just, when I see these, it just makes me forget like that time, that period where it was really bad and really sad. And then I remember I wanted this PJ Sparkle doll. I don't know if y'all remember that. I don't know if you're old enough to remember that, but PJ Sparkles was the thing. Like, but it was like something that only like people who had money, you know, at that time, because I'm like poor, I was on, you know, an allowance from the state. And she bought me my PJ Sparkle. Look at me, I'm all, what's up? Who's the loner now? No, I'm just kidding. But that was me. That's my other aunt. That was her best friend. And then this was our cross street neighbor. But that was me. I got my PJ Sparkle. Y'all, I slept with that thing like no other. I didn't care that it woke me up and it would like flash its little lights. Like, I was like, no, I am like telling everybody about this doll, that I got this for my birthday. So, anyways, so I had my 7th birthday, and it was like the best birthday that I'd ever had. And not once did I get like a phone call from my biological mother. Not once was I ever able to see my little brother again. He doesn't even know, you guys. Like, I highly doubt that he even remembers or knows that I exist. And us 5 kids, like, you're kind of thrown in this situation to where it's like, you guys have to be brothers and sisters. You have to be a support system for each other. And the one thing that I found as like an outlet for me to feel like normal, or to feel like I had something, or like that like was me, was dancing and music. Dancing and music was my thing. And Sir Mix-a-Lot, Baby Got Back, that was my song. I would go down in the basement. I would pretend to do dance moves. Like, I would do dance routines. I would just try to fill my time with not having the thought of she's never coming back, to basically it's survival. And you're doing things to fill that void, right? And when I would dance, I would just feel normal. I would watch the girls like on MTV, on the TV, and I would mimic their dance moves, and I would just kind of escape for a second. Like, I'm not this foster kid. I'm not this poor child. I'm not this girl that a mom didn't love enough to come get. You know, that I wasn't good enough. And that was my escape. So it's really, really hard for me when I see people who just automatically judge and don't really take the time to really get to know someone. Yes, we're all busy. I mean, it's life. But these are events that have happened, especially the sense of belonging. We all want to belong. But especially for me, I just want like family. I just want to have a sister, you know? And it's different. Like, I'm not saying I don't have a family with my in-laws. Like, I have an amazing family. I'm just saying, stemming from past issues, things that I have dealt with, it's just instilled in me to, if somebody is nice to me and wants to be my friend, I'll latch on. And I will love so hard. I will get so involved. I will do all the things. I will be that first person. Like, I am loyal to a fault. And I've lost great friendships because of that. And I've made great friendships because of that. But I always get disappointed at times when I think that they're going to love as hard or love as deep or be as emotionally connected, or there's that bond that can never break no matter what happens. If we get in the worst fight, like, we're always going to be there because we're sisters. And it breaks my heart when it's not reciprocated, or maybe their thought mentality is completely different than mine. And I'm like a ride or die, like, to the end, you know. It's a little bit scary. No, I'm just kidding. But it stems because of like where I come from, what's happened in foster care, like not having a family unit, not being able to be the big sister that I was supposed to be, you know. So I'm gonna pause because I am really struggling right now emotionally, and we will continue on. I'll try to not wait as long, but you guys have to understand, last week when I really dove into the beginning of my story, I haven't talked about that in 10 years. So when I tapped into that last week, I literally had to like go through all of those emotions and revisit and acknowledge now, like, being a mom and an adult, that, like, you know, a mother abandoned her child. And I've had abandonment issues. I haven't been able to I know that I do, but like when you talk about it, it's different. Like when you're actually acknowledging that this is real, emotionally it plays on you, right? So I'm going to pause and we can go on next week. I'm going to go through your guys' questions right now. Let me take a drink of my water because I just need a quick break. Okay. I'm going through. Were you adopted from foster care? Karen asked. Yes, I was. I was actually fortunate enough to only be in one foster home. before I went to my adoption home. I know many of foster kids today, they actually are in 4 or 5 different foster homes because of you know, them being so young to the time that they actually get placed or adopted. So I was lucky in that sense, I will say that. Talia, you got this. My husband was in the system his whole life. I can't imagine. I'm sorry, girl. Like, that just breaks my heart. Have you tried to find him? Nicole, are you asking if I've tried to find my little brother? The answer is yes. I was going to save this for next week, but I'll just tell you guys. I actually have found all of them. Power of social media. Have I reached out and let them know that I found him? No, I'm not there yet. I don't think that that's something that I really want to open as of now. Last I had heard, he was in Tennessee. And I believe he was a mechanic. I could be mistaken, but I feel like that's what I had seen. And it was about 8 years ago, because I remember it was right when my husband and I got engaged, and something came over me one night just to start looking. And so I looked and I found him. So yeah, to answer your question, I met one of my brothers when I was 17. Oh, I didn't know that. How was that? I have no idea what a PJ Sparkle is. I'm sure I'm older than you. Girl, you are not living if you did not have PJ Sparkle. Look at this thug life right here. I'm straight living. It was the doll, and she had like a light right here on her head. Go Google it. You'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember. That isn't who you are. That is what happened to you. Absolutely, Pamela. I totally agree. I know it's not, but it's feelings and like how you're kind of growing and acknowledging things that have happened. So that's where I'm at. It is not your fault. Your mom has issues. Your older sister is like your mom. My older sister is like your mom. Oh man, girl. You know, and the thing is I never really realized how many people, and let me just say this, you guys, the amount of messages and text messages of support and love that you guys have seriously poured out to me. I am forever grateful for that, and I'm so humbled by it, because I never really realized how many other people went through similar things, knows people, is married to someone, or has been through the same exact thing, or is experiencing that now. Like, it's so unbelievable how many people are out there. Like, it's like you feel alone because nobody's talked about it. So I just want to tell you guys thank you, like from the bottom of my heart. Thank you guys for always reaching out, and just, you guys were so sweet in all of your messages, and I read every single one, and trust and believe that was another reason why it took another week, because I'd go back and read, and then I would start crying all over again because of all the sweet words and encouragement that you guys gave me. I love it. Jill, love you. Love you too, girl. I know some of how you feel. I know the struggle. It's a lot to process and deal with. Yes, we were talking about that earlier, Jill. So I commend you on how much you've overcome as well. I've gone through 3 adoptions. My first one was my son, Eli. My second adoption was a sibling set of 2. My daughter, Lily. My son, Wyatt, was my third. My daughter's... Oh my gosh, Karen! Thank you for adopting. It melts my heart. I have a really good friend. I don't know if I can say her name, but we met because of my business that I'm in, and you know, we connected, and she had told me her daughter was adopted, and I was like, oh my gosh, I am too. And she's like, no way, how old are you? And I said 9. She goes, oh my gosh. I said, like, we just like connect. It was really cool. Andrea, do you still see and talk to your aunt? No, I don't, because she actually passed away from diabetes. I was, I believe, a senior in high school, or a junior. So that was really hard. But the cool thing is I actually got to go to her funeral. So it was kind of like my way of saying bye. Sorry. I had a long lost brother that I found years ago. It was awful. He was awful. Oh, Pamela, wow. Thought it would be a missing piece. That's the thing that I think I'm most scared of, Pamela, is opening that door and it not being a great experience, or it's something completely not what I expected. And I feel like that I've been through enough in my life, and I'm trying to, as my friend Whitney told me, you broke the cycle. I'm breaking the cycle, and I'm kind of leaving that in my past, but I'm also learning and growing from it, and I want to help others to grow from that and to not use that as, you know, a reason as to why they can't ever succeed in life, because you totally can. But that's for another life. We'll talk about that later. So sorry to hear about your aunt. Thank you. Hugs. You were so brave. Thank you, Kay. It is scary, Pamela, but you know, I think that's a chance that it's you know, that's a 50-50 chance of it going really well or not. So, commend you actually for being brave enough to do that. And I'm sorry it didn't turn out the way that you had hoped it would, but at least you have peace of mind of knowing. It's not like you don't have the unknown now, you know? So, all right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. This has been a really long chapter, but I will try to get back on in the next couple days and finish my story. But thank you guys so much for hopping on. And I had a lot of people ask me if it was okay if they shared this. Absolutely, you guys can share this. The more that it gets out to let people know that there's other people with this experience and you're still struggling with it at the age of 33, that's what my purpose is, and my goal is I want them to know they're not alone and they have somebody that they can talk to and lean on. So, if you guys have any other, have you thought about fostering? Karen, that is a topic that my husband and I kind of talk on. So, I don't know. I don't know if I emotionally can handle it personally. I'm so for fostering adoption, but emotionally, I don't know if I can do that. And I wouldn't want to take away from a child experiencing a loving home. Not that I wouldn't love, but I don't know if, like, I wouldn't want my own personal history to get in the way of you know, being able to help a child bloom and grow and understand, you know. So, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I can't say no. Okay, so I will go back, you guys, and I will go through you guys' comments afterwards. I need to go wash my face off, and I need to decompress a little bit. So I will chat at you guys soon, and I will try not to wait so long. And again, if you guys do want to share this, I am giving you full permission to go ahead and do that. And until next time, have a fabulous night, and thank you so much for watching.